student. My name is Dr. Helen B. Inyang. You are all welcome to the first lesson on AEA 507, Agricultural Risk Management. Today we are going to look at the overview of agricultural risk management. This will entail the course objectives. We'll also give you details of the breakdown of what you are expected in each week. So I would like you to pay attention to what the instruction now. What we are going to do will give you a brief information of what you intend to cover in the course of this course. So please pay attention and listen. Thank you. Hi, once again. Like I said in the introduction, we are going to do the first lesson on agricultural risk management. That is AEA 507. It is the overview of agricultural risk management. As you can see here, risk is all about something not pleasant, damaging, things that damage crops, things that will not give you profits. Once you embark on a project and then at the end of it, you lose everything as a result of unforeseen circumstances. That is what we call risk. And then looking at this farm, this is a guinea corn or sorghum farm. You can see here the birds are eating the crops here. At the end of it, as a result of the damage caused by the birds, the farmer will not be able to have a bumper harvest because the birds are feeding on them. This is also known as risk. Looking at this picture also, you also come to discover that as a result of drought, this animal is dead because he has not been able to, maybe he has not seen water to drink for a long period of time. And you know, when there is a drought, even the plants, the grasses will die. And then there will be no water for the animals or even human beings to drink. This is also referred to. And agriculture is characterized by a lot of risks than other sectors of the economy. A brief introduction of the topic here. Agricultural risk management is one of the courses in the Faculty of Agricultural Science that will give students an in-depth understanding of the factor affecting agricultural production, consumption, and distribution. I want to bring to your notice that production can never end until it will reach the hand of the final consumer. If you happen to produce and then leave them in the farm, then you have not produced anything because you have to distribute them and then it will get to the hand of final consumer. that is when production has ended. The same thing, farmers will not plant and then allow those things to die like that, or to lay in the farm without being sold. And that is one of the problems that the farmers are having in the course of agricultural production. Some of them will produce, but they don't have way to sell them. Or some of them during a period of bumper harvest, there will be surplus food in their local markets. And they may not really be able to have an outlet or an opening market elsewhere apart from their own locality to dispose or to sell their products. At the end of it, you go to their farm, you see all those crops will be wasted. That is risk. Produced with the intention of selling, and then at the end of it, you don't have customers to sell for. And then, and as a result of storage facilities in Nigeria, we don't have enough storage facility. These farmers, their products will not be stored. And on some of the problem we have in agriculture is the nature of these agricultural products. Agricultural products are highly perishable. Taking, for example, tomato. After production, if a ripe tomato, if a farmer harvests tomato and it's not being sold within 2 days, it will be rotten and the farmer will operate at a loss. And then distribution. Distribution too, if he has no way to distribute, if there are no outlets after production to distribute, then it will still be risk to the farmer because those crops will be wasted. So the main aim of this course is to introduce the student to the nitty-gritty of the risk management in agricultural sector. Like I say, at the end of this course, you will be able to know what you should do in order to avert certain risks in agricultural sector or in your crops. And also you'll be able to give advice to the farmers. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. So by studying this course, you will be able to understand the nature of the risks that you will come across in agricultural sector, as well as the different or various mitigating factors. And activity 1, having explained a little about risks, I want you to attempt to do this activity. Looking at these pictures here, the 2 pictures here, what do you think happens to the crops and animals? These are the pictures. See, this is rice farm, and these are animals in the field grazing. This should be a grazing area for animals. So what do you think happens to this? What do you think happens? So I will pause for you to do the activities. So you cannot, if you don't finish these activities, you will not go over to the next page. You will also be able to expose, to know or differentiate between agricultural products and products from other sectors. Having looked at the characteristics of agricultural products, you'll be able to define risks You also be able to explain the nature of agricultural risks. What are the natures of these agricultural risks? We talked about uncertainty. We talked about certainty. What are their natures? Those are the things we should consider. And also we talked about those ones that at least will not really cost so much, and those ones that will take off everything in the farm. Then we also talked about how you'll be able to state the risks in crop production and also the risks in livestock industries. What are the likely risks you intend to encounter in the course of crop production? Weather is one of them. If you happen to plant crops and then you come to discover that it's supposed to be a rainy season and then you come to discover that drought setting, what will happen to your crops? They will all die or they will not do well. Then in the case of livestock industry, if there are outbreak of disease, you come to discover that a lot of animals will die. Those are the likely risks you are going to encounter, and so many and many others. You will be able to distinguish between risks and uncertainty. What is risk? What is uncertainty? Those are the things you will also come to understand. At the end of this course, you also be able to identify the sources of agricultural risks. Where are they coming from? What are the sources of agricultural risks? There are a lot of sources. There are a lot of, even human being can constitute agricultural risks. So you'll be exposed to that in the course of this course before we end this course. Then you'll be able to differentiate between inputs and output risks. What are the input risks? In the course of this, you also be able to understand them. You also be able to explain the risk attitude of farmers. Farmers are inherently erratic in their decision. You come to discover that there are some farmers that do not even want to take any risks. There are some that will remain neutral. What's my own? There are some that will say, I like taking risks. I want to go into it. Those are the risk adventures. They love risks. And those ones that say, I cannot do, the calculators, they will sit down to calculate. If I take these risks, I think I will do this, I will do that. The risk neutral. And there are business in agriculture. Then you also come to be able to state the determinants of risk attitudes. What are those things that determines the risk attitude? We come to discover that age is one of the determinants of risk attitude. The older people tend to undertake risks than the younger ones. Why do they do this? Those that have been there in the business for a long time, because most of them has what it takes. They have what it takes to undertake risks. But the youths who do not really have anything to fall back to may not want to take certain risks. And there are other things or other determinants of risk attitudes of the farmers. Some may be the size, household size, and many others. You will be exposed to this and you'll be able to list them one after the other. You also be able to discuss the implication of each of these categories of risk attitudes on adoption of innovation. You'll be able to see them one after the other. Those that want to embark on a change immediately. The laggards, those that no, I cannot go. Those that want to early adopters and others, you come to see them in the course of this course. Then you'll be able to explain the management principle that can be used to mitigate specific agricultural risks. What are the management principles? You come to state them and explain them. So in the course of our facilitation also, you'll be able to state the importance of information in risk mitigation. What are the likely information that farmers need in order to avoid risks or in order to guard against risks? You'll be able to state them. Inputs, information on inputs, information on markets, information on the price of those products. You come to the knowledge of those ones, or you'll be able to state them in the course of our facilitation. You also be able to discuss the rules of technology in risk mitigation methods. Technology has played a lot of roles in making change in the society. It will also play roles in agricultural sector. Then you also be able to define risk assessment in the course of our facilitation. You also be able to identify the variables that should be quantified in risk mitigation. What are those variables? You also be able to explain the layers of risks, different layers of risks. You also be able to identify the risk layers that requires government intervention. You know that there are certain periods whereby government decide to step into risks. There are some risks known as catastrophe. No such risks, the farmer alone will not be able to do something about it. So this one will require government intervention. The government will also give them a token to help them start up with. And there are other risk layers that also requires government intervention, which you will be able to identify in the course of our facilitation. Also, you will be able to state the rationale for government intervention in risk management. What are the rationales for government intervention? You'll be able to set them, the different rationales that government will use in order to intervene in risk management. You'll be able to discuss the government policy targeted at risk management. That can be used in risk management in developing countries like us. Nigeria is a developing country. We all know this. So there are different ICT gadgets that we use in Nigeria in order to be able to reach out to the farmers when it has to do with risk management. You also be able to state the standard support necessary for ICT in risk management, and you'll be able to discuss how ICT can be used to mitigate agricultural risks. April 6, 2021, and this course will end on the 30th May 2021 as stated in the objectives above. Week 2. Week 2, we talked about the topic for discussion on week 2 will be the nature of agricultural production. So what are the nature of agricultural production? This will have to do, under this we talked about the characteristics of agricultural production. We talked about the nature of agricultural products. So there are different characteristics of agricultural production. We have animal production, crop production, even agricultural processing and others. Then what are their characteristics? Unit 2, we talked about nature of agricultural products. Like I said earlier on, there are a lot of, we have so many different natures of agricultural products. They are seasonal, they are bulky, substitution, when you talked about, they have zero substitution as far as agricultural products is concerned. And there are other characteristics of agriculture which we intend to during the real facilitation. Week 3. In week 3, the topic we intend to treat is meaning, sources, and types of agricultural risks. We'll be able to define the meaning of agricultural risks and the nature. We'll be able to also state the sources of risks in agriculture. What are the sources of risks in agriculture? Where are those likely sources that will cause risks in agriculture? One of them is the weather, the climatic factor. When we talked about the climatic factor, we include the weather condition, the temperature. We know that excessive heat also causes harm to plants and animals. Excessive cold too will also do the same. Drought will also cause problem to both plants and animals. And others. And others. We also come to list out the different types of risks. There are so many types of risks that we will be exposed to. You come to know. Then that is the input risk, the output risk, and others. You'll be exposed to all those risks. The effects of risks on agricultural industry. What are the likely risks or the risks? What will be the impacts of risks on agricultural sector? Industry. When there is bumper harvest, the agricultural industries will also have a high production. When there is shortage of rice to poor yield in agricultural sector, it will also affect agricultural industry because they will have limited raw materials to process to finish goods. In the course of our lesson 2, under week 3, that's unit 5, we will be exposed to risk attitudes of farmers. What are those risk attitudes of farmers? What is their reaction when it comes to risk taking? There are some attitudes that farmers would exhibit when it has to do with risk taking. Some of them will completely avoid these risks. Some of them will say, okay, 50-50. The calculators, the risk neutral. Anywhere I go. There are some of them that are risk ventures, risk takers. And those people are the ones that, no matter the extent, the amount of risk, they want to take such risks in order to come out. And such people at the end of it, after taking that risk, those are the people that in most cases comes out as innovators. Those are the people that comes out with a very good profit. Those are the people that also come out with high yield when it has to do with risk attitudes of farmers. Week 4. The topic for week 4 will be on risk management and strategies in risk management in agriculture. In the course of this, this will cover module 3, units 1 and 2, and also module 4, units 1 and 2. Unit 1 will be meaning and scope and risk management. meaning and scope of risk management. Unit 2 will talk about risk management process and benefits of risk management. Then Module 4 will talk about Module 4, that's Unit 1 and 2, still under topic still under topic 4. That's week 4. Unit 4 will look at Module 4 will look at Units 1 and 2. Unit 1 will talk about enterprise diversification and vertical integration as risk mitigation methods. Unit 2 Unit 2 will talk about aging, lancing, and off-farm employment as risk mitigation methods. I believe you must have gone through you have done the activities. Before we continue for the next week, I also want you to look at these questions now. I want to ask you this question also. What are the nature of agricultural products? Because in our next discussion, we'll talk about that. You also have to take it home to now list out the nature of agricultural products. Then week 7, the topic for week 7 is the role of government and information communication technology in risk management. So this will cover Module 6, Units 1 and 2. Unit 1 will be the role of government in risk management. So in the course of it, you'll be able to look at the rules of government in risk management. Then Unit 2 will cover the information and communication technologies and risk management. What are those rules that government will likely undertake in managing risk? What are those roles played by information and communication technologies in risk management? So you will be exposed to this. The last but not the least week, that is week 8, is revision class. In the revision class, we will review the semester's work. We will review the semester's work. We will review the semester's work. The students' ability to understand the course will also be tested. That means you will be given a test at the end of the course. And also, we will review week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, that is topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, topic 4, topic 5, topic 6, topic 7 will be reviewed during this revision class. And also there will be a question and answer section during the revision class as well. There will be question and answers questions during the revision class as well. So this will take us to the end of the facilitation. I want to leave you with this. Please go home and read about the nature of agricultural production. That will cover, that is Module 1, Unit 1 and 2. Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Helen B. Inyang. This is my email address, hinyang@now.edu.ng. Thank you.
Adam Willoughby.